You know that person who scrolls their feed late at night and watches everyone announce promotions, engagements, new apartments? They close the app. They tell themselves it doesn't matter. The feeling stays. They walk into work the next morning. They watch a coworker laugh easily with the boss. They watch another mention a side project. They watch a third announce they just bought a house. And the same thought arrives, with the same weight. Everyone has figured something out that you haven't. You're not envious. You're not even sad. You're confused because from the outside, you look exactly like them. You have the job, you have the relationships, you have the milestones. But inside, you're still waiting for the part where it clicks. Here's what the research actually says. The people you're comparing yourself to are running the exact same loop. They are watching you laugh in the meeting, watching you post the trip photo, watching you mention the promotion, and feeling that same quiet collapse. The feeling isn't a sign that you're behind. It's a sign the system you were trained to run wasn't built for curated feeds. And here's the part nobody warns you about. The more put together someone looks on the surface, the more likely they're running this exact pattern too. There's a name for this. Psychologists call it pluralistic ignorance. Everyone in a group privately doubts something, but each person assumes the others believe it because nobody says it out loud. You see the calm faces. You don't see the 2 a.m. spiral. You see the LinkedIn post.
You don't see the 3 months of rejected drafts behind it, so your brain runs the only calculation it can. Visible confidence in them, private chaos in you. Therefore, something is wrong with you. But that calculation is missing the entire denominator. You're comparing your full inner experience to other people's edited surfaces. The system isn't broken. It's running on incomplete data, and it has no way of knowing. The first layer is what researchers call the spotlight effect. Imagine you walked into a room today and felt like everyone could tell you were anxious, like the discomfort was written across your face. It wasn't. Thomas Gilovich at Cornell ran the classic study. He had participants wear an embarrassing t-shirt into a room and predict how many people would notice. They guessed about half. The actual number was closer to a quarter. We overestimate how visible we are by roughly double. So when you're standing in that meeting feeling like everyone sees the cracks, they don't. They're too busy assuming you can see theirs. And here's the second layer most people miss. Even when nobody is hiding anything, you're still misreading the data. Alexander Jordan at Stanford asked students how often their peers felt lonely, unmotivated, lost. They underestimated it dramatically. Then he asked about positive experiences, overestimated, across the board. The bias is structural. We see other people's good days because they share them. We see our own bad days because we live them. So even before social media touches it, the comparison was already rigged. You're not failing to keep up. You're running a race where you can see all of your own stumbles and only their finish lines. You were told, somewhere along the way, that the feeling meant you were behind, that you should be further along by now, that everyone else had been handed a manual you somehow missed. None of that was true.
What was actually happening was simpler and quieter. You were processing the full weight of your own inner life, every doubt, every 3 a.m. thought, every moment of feeling completely lost, and comparing it to a slideshow. You weren't slower, you weren't less capable, you weren't missing something everyone else had been given. You were just the only person in the room with full access to your own data. And it turns out, so was everyone else. They were running the same loop, just on different scenery. So here is the line, if you need it. You were never behind. You just couldn't see anyone else's backstage. What actually governs this feeling isn't where you are in life. It's the asymmetry of information. You will always have more data about yourself than about anyone else, and that asymmetry will always make you feel like the odd one out. The people who suffer least from this aren't the ones who have more. They're the ones who stopped treating other people's surfaces as evidence. They learned that visible calm is a performance everyone is delivering. The absence of struggle in someone else's life usually just means you weren't invited to see it.
Understanding this doesn't make the feeling vanish, but it does change what the feeling is allowed to mean about you. You were never behind. You just couldn't see anyone else's backstage. And once you know that, the room you walk into tomorrow looks different. Not because the people changed, because the math did. So here is the question. When you feel like everyone else has it figured out, is it the comparison that hurts most, or the loneliness of being the only one who seems not to? Tell me in the comments. If this explains something you've never had words for, subscribe. That's what every video on this channel is trying to do. Next, why the people who seem the most composed are usually running the loudest inner monologue.